Okay, my name is Casandis Hunt, and I am a resident of Champaign-Urbana, Illinois. I've been here all my life. I would like to start by saying that I grew up in a very nice home. I have two older brothers, and I'm the only girl and the baby of the family. All my life, I always was raised like an only child because my two brothers lived with my grandmother and I lived with my mom. I was raised up in what they would call the projects in Champaign. And through that time, I accumulated a lot of friends. So we all did what kids did. We played, we went to school and everything. When I got, I want to say about 13, 14 years old, I had my first experience with smoking marijuana. But before I even had my first experience with smoking marijuana, as being kids, we would go to like the little neighborhood, little stores, and we would do what they would call like shoplifting. And we would take stuff. And it would be like petty stuff at that time that we would do, that we would take. Not knowing that when we growed up that this was going to follow us all our life. It was going to be something that we would do. So after I got older, I went to high school. By me being short in stature, I always suffered with what everyone called, it was the Napoleon complex. I did not realize this until I got older, that I suffered from it. But I always was a fighter and a feisty person. I always, wanted to have my point heard, wanted to be the one that was able to run things or tell things or, make sure everything was done right. Me being young, I didn't realize the power that had because I had a lot of people that looked up to me. And even though I was short, they looked up to me. A lot of people that, wanted to do whatever I wanted to do. And I didn't realize how much I was a role model at a young age. When I got around about, I want to say 22 years old, I had my first experience with drugs, heavy drugs, cocaine. At that time, we had moved from Champaign to East St. Louis, which I ended up graduating from East St. Louis Senior High School. Through the process of that time, being in Champaign before I moved to St. Louis, I had caught like a couple of little petty thefts in the process of that time. But they were all like probationable, and I went on and moved away. I graduated out of high school because my mother wasn't having it. If I didn't, she wasn't going for it. After I got graduated out of high school, I moved back to Champaign. When I moved back to Champaign, drugs was real popular on the streets. Everybody was doing them. Everybody knew about them. One shape, form, or fashion, if it wasn't you, somebody in your family you knew was involved with them. Me being who I was at the time, I got involved with them as well. I didn't realize at that time, by me being young, that it was going to affect me for the rest of my life. After going to the penitentiary 3 different times for what should have been retail theft if I would have been anywhere else but Champaign County, it ended up being enhanced to burglary. Me personally feel that that's something that shouldn't be able to be done, because if you're not burglarizing anything, why should you be charged with a burglary? But when you're over there in the county jail and you're wanting to get out, you cop out to a lot of things that you are not guilty of. You're getting a time for the crime that you did not commit. Retail theft is retail theft, and that's what it should have been. Theft is theft. Theft should never be able to be turned into a burglary, and this is just my opinion, because burglary is a different level. When you're going for jobs or when you're trying to present yourself to someone and they see a burglary in your background, they're looking at it in a whole different aspect. They're not looking at it as, oh, you just went in the store and stole something. And I'm not taking it lightly. I'm not saying that it's not nothing that's not important, but I feel for me, it made me have to fight harder to get where I end up getting today. I have spiritual grounding today, And that spiritual grounding helped me to be able to deal with the problems that I had with addiction, the problems that I had with the Napoleon complex, the problems that I had with not wanting to necessarily follow directions or wanting to listen. I got introduced with the First Followers through trying to get a healthcare waiver. Because of my felonies, I had got shot down for several different jobs. I had got shot down for several different opportunities, and all of it was because of a background. But I was determined not to give up. I was determined to let my story be heard and to live out my past. My past does not determine who I am today. My past is my strength in order for me to make a change for tomorrow. The last time when I got out the penitentiary, I had put it in my mind that I wanted to do something different. And I didn't want to go back behind the walls because I didn't learn anything there. I learned how to be a better criminal. I learned how to be more conniving. I learned how to do anything negative you can think of. When I came out, I wanted to do something different. I wanted to do something positive. I got introduced to the NA program, which was Narcotics Anonymous, which was something to help me deal with the original problem to stop me from going through the cycle of going back to the penitentiary. When I got in that program, I learned how not only to live life on life terms, I learned how to deal with everyday problems and to be able to know that just because you are told no, it does not mean that you have to stop. Only thing it means is that you need to keep going on even stronger. When one door is shut, another one will open, as long as you keep striving to get it open. Through that process, I can say today that it wasn't easy, and I understand why people give up. I understand why people don't strive. I understand why people go back to using drugs or go back to stealing or go back to selling drugs or go back to doing whatever they were doing that ended up getting in trouble, because it's easier. It's easier to go back to doing what you were doing rather than to try to do something different when you're constantly getting the door slammed in your face. You're getting more no's than you are yes. Sometimes you get no's and never get yeses. You know, I'm sorry, I can't help you today, ma'am. Or no, you're not capable of being worked here. Or no, you know, this is not a good fit for you. Whatever you could think of, them no's come at you. In the process of that, like I said, my goal was to come back to Champaign, Illinois, where I had got in trouble. I've never got in trouble out of any other county. No matter where I went, I never got in trouble. I never used drugs. I never did anything. It was always when I came back to Champaign County that I got in trouble, that I caught cases, that I went to the penitentiary. I wanted to come back. I set myself goals. I said that I wanted to come back to Champaign, Illinois. I wanted to be able to work. I wanted to be able to live in my hometown, and I wanted to give back to the community that I had took from for so long. I was able to be able to move back here and was granted the chance to work at a treatment center. I worked at that treatment center for 4.5 to 5 years. And I was able to work with people that was dealing with the same struggles that I had dealt with, which was drugs and alcohol. Some of the ladies and the men that I dealt with, I was able to share my story with them and let them know that it's going to be hard, because if you got a felony on your back, no one's going to just take it that you are rehabilitated. And that's what they tell you when you go to the penitentiary. We're here to rehabilitate you. But in the end, there is no rehabilitation with going to the penitentiary. I got more rehabilitation out of going to the Gateway program, out of learning skills and learning stuff that would teach me to do something different. Because when you take something from somebody, you have to give them something back to cover that empty spot. And that was the treatment center. That was the tools to be able to never give up. That's what Narcotics Anonymous gave me back. It gave me back my tools. It gave me back the chance to be able to know that I may get told no today, but tomorrow could be a yes as long as I don't give up today. I sit here and I say that without me going to the First Followers or hearing about the First Followers or being able to get introduced to Marlon and introduced to Mr. James, I wouldn't have been able to know that even though I don't work at the treatment center no more, I still can give back. I still can help. I still can get my story heard. I still can let people know that it was a long time coming, but I didn't give up. And it doesn't happen overnight. And even though the laws are set up now that felonies follow you all your life, you can't let that stop you from doing what you need to do in order to help yourself, in order to be able to have a solid foundation under you. And no, it's not going to be easy. It wasn't easy for me. I had lots of sleepless nights. I had lots of times where that I felt that I wanted to go back. You know, oh, you can just go back, and it'd be easier if you went back in the street and continued to do the things that you were doing. But it wouldn't be easier because I had to think about, I have a conscience. I don't want to live with the conscience of being on my mind of you went in the store and you stole that and you didn't pay for it, or you don't have a job, so you're sleeping on somebody's couch and you're not paying nobody any bills, and you know you're worthless. Your life is not, you're not accomplishing anything out of life. I want to be able to accomplish some things out of life, and I can say today, you know, I have a whole lot of more goals that I am trying to accomplish. One of my goals that I'm trying to accomplish is to help those that struggling in order to get those health care waivers, to help those that are struggling in order to just get a job that can pay bills. You know, minimum wage these days, if you go to McDonald's, it's easy to say, well, you can get a job, you can work at McDonald's, or you can get a job, you can work at the fast food, you can do that. It's easy to say that you can get these type of jobs, but just think about it. If you get a job like that, and you are a woman, or you are a mother, or you are a father, and you have kids to take care of, and you have rent to pay, you have lights to pay, you have mouths to feed, that job is not going to help you pay your bills. It's not going to help you feed your kids. And to come home every night, or to, you know, to come home every day and to know that bills are not paid and you done worked X amount of hours, you know, and you still ain't able to make ends meet, it's hurtful. It's hurting. It cuts you to the core. So, you know, my reason for sitting here today and for telling my story is to hopefully get the word out there and let people know that, you know, we need to help everybody, not just help those that don't have felons, not just help those that's never been in trouble, because good people have done bad things, but also bad people can do good things. One bad person does not mean you have to be bad for the rest of your life, or that you never can change. Even though if you want change, change is there for you. If you're willing to change, change is there for you. If you're given the chance to change, change is there for you. So let's just give ourselves a chance and help people and know that there's a difference. We all can make a difference, no matter how small it is. We can make a difference. And with that, I'm going to say thank y'all for listening to me. I want to thank First Followers for giving me the chance to be a part of the organization, to give me a chance to, you know, want to help. Also, I would like to say that this is a great organization. It's a great thing to be in, a great organization to be a part of. And I just want to say thank you.